In the Fuzzy Memories podcast, we celebrate the good, the rad, and the fugly of the 80s and 90s.
We're three latchkey kids who made it out alive.
And in each episode, we break down all the culture that popped, 1 year at a time.
Whether it's the birth of legends...
I'm Lyme disease free today, and I have Whitney Houston and MTV to thank. Or audacious moves.
Imagine also the poor Golden Gate Bridge. You turn 75 and people have a party on you.
Yep. I don't want that.
Or even confusing PSAs.
And the stop, drop, and roll. I mean, I assumed as an adult I would catch on fire weekly.
All the time!
We've got a take that will make you laugh.
We've also got thoughts on all sorts of random phenomena and the most unmitigated of golf.
Why sharks can't be trusted, people can't be trusted, and rivers can't be trusted. It's collusion.
It's of the highest degree.
Uh-huh.
You were counseling me to start my remarks with, first of all, bitch.
Everyone in that room would have snapped to attention.
It's going to be basically coffee lids, shark revenge, and then maybe like Matt Getz. God, we need to do something about him.
Join us every other Wednesday to celebrate the hits, the misses, and the misfits of the weirdest decades.
If I could tell my 14-year-old self from 1990 that I would be eating in a Cheesecake Factory in
Beverly Hills,
I'd be like, we did it. We did it, Joe.
We did it.
Listen and subscribe to Fuzzy Memories on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and your favorite podcast platform.
Welcome to Broads and Books, the podcast with one unique theme, four handpicked book recommendations, two broads. I'm Amy.
And I'm Erin, and this is episode number 33, Monster Mash.
So when I came up with the name for this, Erin cackled for quite a while. It was delightful.
It's a graveyard smash.
In case the title isn't clear enough, we are talking about the supernatural today. Yes. You know, it's a good time of year to be talking about supernatural stuff, and that's where we're going. We're talking about monsters, ghosts, all sorts of things.
Yes.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting.
We had fun with our picks,
We
I
did.
think. Yeah.
Yes, today was very fun.
Would you ever be opposed to come back as a ghost?
I would love to come back as a ghost.
Yeah.
I would love to haunt people that I don't like. Like I would like to haunt old bosses and just come back like, you said women couldn't write. Check it out. I don't know. That's all. That's the farthest I've gone.
So you're like a revenge ghost.
I'm a revenge ghost.
Okay.
Yes. I also want to come back and haunt like exes. You know, and just get real weird.
I like it.
I want to haunt anyone who buys stuff from Goop. I feel like they're sort of woo-woo anyway, so if suddenly they're like $100 face whatever comes in and then there's a ghost behind it, they're like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's totally normal.
Yeah.
And then I can just see the headline already, like revenge ghost targets Goop. Like CEO's like, we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
We're embracing it.
No, they're going to embrace me. I'll be like the Goop mascot.
Gwyneth Paltrow will be like, I always knew that we needed a ghost.
Yeah, she will be like, listen, this was a special thing.
It was a conscious coupling with this ghost.
Conscious partnership. Yes. Erin, have you ever been hypnotized?
I have.
I want to hear about this.
Okay, I want to say I was like in middle school, maybe just a touch older, and I was at some fair with my parents or some family members. It was some kind of state fair type thing, but it wasn't the Iowa State Fair.
Okay.
And there was a hypnotist, and they were picking people from the audience, and he picked me. And I ended up lip syncing to "Whose Bed Have Your Boots Been Under?"
What?
by Shania Twain.
So, okay, here's my question about hypnotism. When it's happening and when you're lip syncing to, say, Shania Twain, do you understand what's happening? Do you, like, what's it like in your head?
I was thinking about that when just reflecting on this question, because I do remember feeling like I didn't know what was happening. And then feeling like afterwards I didn't really know. But then there's a part of me that feels like you do know, and I don't know, there's something that your subconscious is doing of having you play along, kind of. And I mean, yes, I do know all the words to Whose Bed Have Your Boots Been Under?
Do you think there were Confederates in the audience that were like, this girl over here really likes Shania Twain, so we're going to hypnonize her?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe maybe I was humming it and they're like, perfect.
Yes.
You. But in my normal life, I would never be on stage like strutting around singing Whose Bed Have Your Boots? Not a chance.
I kind of wish that you would, though.
Yeah. I mean, maybe now, but in between that age and, I mean, I'm a little more self-assured now. I'd be like, you don't like
So
it,
you
don't
wouldn't
watch.
need hypnosis to
No.
do it now. Okay,
I would hope that if I did it now, it would just be free will.
Okay,
Just,
great.
Yeah.
Maybe some booze
Watch
to help
this.
you.
Yeah. Watch this. That's what I feel like.
So go back to middle school you. How, after the experience, how did you feel? Did you feel like, oh, okay, I've
Weird.
been manipulated?
Yeah, I felt kind of weird after
Okay.
it. Yeah, I felt like I don't know what to think or believe, really. Like, did I willingly go along with that? Did I not? Was I really hip? You know, you have
Yeah.
a weird feeling.
When you went back to Catholic school, did they call you a witch after that?
Yeah, I was expelled.
She's been communing with Satan.
You're out. I can see it on your face.
That's what I figured. Okay. Wow. So middle school is the last time you've been
Yeah, I
hypnotized.
know. I mean, I'm pretty sure we had them like at prom and after prom
Sure,
and stuff,
yeah.
but no, I never, Mm-mm.
Okay.
So I have a follow-up question to you haunting people.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So would you have a telltale thing that people would know it was you?
You're damn right I would.
Okay.
And it would be, you'd start hearing the notes of a song, and the song would start coming through. And you're like, wait, that sounds like David Bowie's song from Labyrinth. And it's the song from Labyrinth. The whole, like... So, like, mulleted David Bowie, you know,
Yes.
singing, I don't even remember the words now, but the Labyrinth song,
Okay.
that would be me coming in to haunt the shit out of you.
I don't know how I see, this is how I got hypnotized. I clearly don't pay attention because I said that and then you said music and I still didn't get to David Bowie.
I was wondering if I was going to show my tell.
You did. Once you finally
Okay.
said it.
Okay.
The glee. Like, if I couldn't hear, I'd have been like, oh, she referenced David Bowie. Because the face changes.
And you know what?
Pure joy.
I didn't even think about how long it had been since I talked about David Bowie. This time I was like,
Wild.
all rules are off.
All bets are off. When
Yeah.
you're a ghost, this is going to be I got to tell you what I'm going to do. So I think good on you.
Yeah. And hopefully, if I'm a ghost, David Bowie is as well. And we like team up. We're like team ghost cops.
Collaboration.
And
A
we're
conscious collaboration.
I'm going after Goop. He's going after Scientology. Like, we're co-haunting.
I like it.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Wow.
He doesn't have to wear the Labyrinth costume. He can be whoever he wants to be. But this Labyrinth song is the one that
It's
that's
going to need to play.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not negotiable. That's fine. I think you'd be okay with that.
Erin, I want to know the same question about you. If you came back as a ghost, would you have a sign? A telltale sign?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that I would just try and do things that are unmistakably me. Like, you'd be like, did somebody fall down the stairs? And there's no
What
one
was
there.
that clatter?
Yeah, what was that noise? I don't understand. Because I would want to haunt people to the point that they were talking to me. And they're unsure as to whether or not I'm there, but like that other people in their life are like, who are you talking to? And they're like, Erin. It's like, oh, Lord, we need to, intervention time. Yeah, I wanted to go that far.
Are you going to drive people to the insane asylum?
Maybe. Depends on how I leave this earth. Everyone should just know. Keep your relationships intact, because if I have that opportunity, I'm coming for you.
Are there specific people you're targeting?
Well, right now, there's probably a few that I would. And those, I wouldn't necessarily want them to talk to me. I'd more just want them to, at some point, when they're by themselves, to just be crying. Like, I just want this to end. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm done.
My work is done.
My work is done.
Wow. We both got sort of vendetta-y
Yeah.
as ghosts.
I would live on other people's tears.
Yes, feed me those tears.
Cry, mortal cry.
Now I'm picturing you holding like a little tiny thing up to catch the tears so then you can drink it.
A little like one of those flasks on this.
Yes, like a necklace flask or something.
Yeah. Catching all my tears and then just getting drunk on human tears.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I wonder what drunk on
That's
human
how
tears
I fall
is
down
like.
the stairs.
Oh, it all gets clear now. So you get drunk on human tears, and then you enact what you used to do in life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just walk into things, fall downstairs.
Geese start chasing after you,
Oh my
even as a
gosh.
ghost.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Geese would know. I mean, they
Yeah.
would be able to tell if you were a
I'd
ghost.
start riding one. You're like, you didn't think this through. Physics don't apply to me.
Ooh, when I'm a ghost, I'm going to ride that mountain lion that we talked about.
Oh,
yeah. I'm going to have a mountain lion that I name Monty. And he and I are just... Is that a new detail? Okay. That's a new one. Just came up with it.
Okay, I like it.
Mounty the mountain. Monty the mountain lion.
Not Mounty.
Not Mounty. Not a
Monty.
Canadian Mounty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monty. Okay. That is a perfect mountain lion name. In fact, I will now refer to all mountain lions as Monty.
Yeah, he'll be the full Monty. Oh dear.
Yeah, that was full Monty. Amy on a mountain lion.
Yep. Yep. I think we should move to our picks because
Probably,
there's no
probably.
real way to transition
No,
from
I want to, but
the
no.
full Monty, the mountain lion.
in Monster Mash.
Okay, so like we said, our theme today is supernatural. It's monsters. It's all that kind of stuff. So my first pick is called The Mere Wife by Maria Devana Headley from 2018. First off, this is a modern retelling of Beowulf, and that focuses on Grendel, who's a monster, a dragon, and a hero. And it's men and men's stuff. And I don't know about you. Do you remember reading this in school? Yeah. What was your reaction when you read it?
I remember kind of hating it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember getting anything from it.
No,
Yeah.
no. It felt very forced.
Yes.
But, and we've talked about that before. I feel like that about a lot of stuff. And then I get angry now as an adult because I've been exposed to so much more literature.
Yes.
And so many more books that could easily demonstrate the same theme or message. And I think, gosh, what a disservice that we're always focused
Absolutely.
on just that one piece.
Well, and now I kind of wish, like, if they're still teaching Beowulf, who knows if they are, but if they are, I think they should pair that with this book because, like, that one is, like I said, men and men stuff. This is about women.
Okay.
And it's kind of a new take on the story. So it's based in a suburb called Harrett Hall. And to those inside the suburb, it's paradise. It's wonderful. It's great. Okay. To those on the periphery, it's like this armed fortress that no one can get into.
Okay.
There's the main character. Well, one of the main characters is Dana. She is a former soldier who has come back after some terrible wartime experiences, including a kidnapping where she may have been beheaded. Like, she has this memory of being beheaded, but she's alive and she's pregnant. And she's not quite sure, like, this is sort of sudden, it's strange, she's maybe supernaturally pregnant. We're not quite sure what's happening here.
She got hypnotized.
Exactly.
Who knows?
Hypnotized by the full Monty and given...
Yes. Now the mountain lion is performing hypnotism. I love it. Yes.
So she gives birth in a cave in the mountains outside Harrett Hall.
That's
It's
rough.
as gross as you would imagine
Sure, yeah.
it to be. Yeah. Her son is Gren. Then there's Willa, who is a housewife in a mansion in Harrett Hall, and she has a son named Dylan. So Gren, the kid that's born in the cave, he is somehow different. We're made to think that Dana is hiding him in this cave as he grows up because the world might think he's a monster.
Okay.
So we could there's evidence to go the supernatural route here, where he looks different, he looks monstrous, something about him. But there's also evidence that he could just be different because of his race. He's darker, he's also gay, so some of that may be playing into it as well. But at one point, Gren escapes, and he starts hanging out with suburban kid, Dylan.
Oh.
And shit goes down from there.
Okay.
So one cool thing that Maria Devana Headley does is, ever since Beowulf has first been translated from Old English, she says there's basically been mistranslations going on.
Really?
She says in the way that we've traditionally translated this, the Old English for Grendel's mother makes her a monster. But she says that's wrong because, of course, she knows Old English. She's badass, Maria Devana Headley.
Yeah.
She says actually the word that's being used means warrior. So Gren's mom is actually a soldier. So that's the route she takes. She's not a monster. She's just this war-hardened person.
Oh.
There's also, from the original, there's a Beowulf character, and he's a detective here, but he's not a hero in this story. He's this mercenary looking for glory.
Oh.
So that gets playing into. So the writing is beautiful. The story, which is focused on these two women in particular, is very tense. It's very powerful. It's dark. And there's just strain of just weird, unexplained, otherworldly stuff going on. And it's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Monstrous, cool stuff.
I'm glad
happening.
that you brought that one up because I had saw that when it came out and I avoided it because I just didn't really think I was going to like it based on some of that information, you know, but that is amazing that she's that much of a scholar.
I know.
That's so cool.
And at first, when I heard it was a Beowulf thing, I had no desire to based on that.
Yeah.
But then I saw good reviews about it. I saw it was based on the women. I was like, oh, okay. So then I gave it a shot. And it's so
worth
so
it,
awesome.
obviously. Yeah, very cool.
Just beyond the point that in the first few pages, she may or may not be beheaded, but she's still alive. I mean, from that point, you just go.
Yeah, you
It's
gotta
great.
you gotta find out what happens to that person for sure. Gotta be team possible beheading.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. Well, that sounds amazing. Because
Very, very good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the book that I'm recommending under our general fiction category this week is called Providence by Caroline Kepnes. So I have previously recommended her with You and Hidden Bodies. And I'm going to say a caveat right out of the gate. This is very different from You or Hidden Bodies. And some of the reviews for it were kind of lukewarm. And I am one to believe that I think it's because it came after.
Different.
Yeah. I think we all know that happens with authors. They get kind of pigeonholed, especially if their first book was amazing. I mean, it's kind of like what's happened to J.K. Rowling, that she had these amazing series of Harry Potter and then she struggled to get adult fiction because people, it's just not Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And they just
We
can't
just
figure
wanna-
out what that means, right? And so I think that this got a bad rap, and I think you have to look at it almost, maybe you just need to think it's an entirely different author.
Yeah.
But it's a very gripping, crazy story. So it was published in June of 2018. John and Chloe are the two main characters. They grow up together, they're best friends, and they have this really deep connection that neither of them can really explain. And for growing up, they're just friends, but they just have a very, very strong bond. And to the point that John's getting ready to think that he's actually in love with Chloe. Like he's really meant to be with her. So about the time that he's getting old enough and brave enough to lay it all out there, he's kidnapped by a substitute teacher at his school who is obsessed with H.P. Lovecraft and has his own weird plot to save humanity. And John's going to be part of this. So if you don't know who H.P. Lovecraft is, he wrote sci-fi, horror, very weird stories. Yes. And he lived in Providence, Rhode Island. So it's kind of a nod back to the name Providence. He also has some very devoted followers. I mean, you've heard of like Comic-Con and things like that. There's a big following of H.P. Lovecraft as well. And that plays a very interesting role in the backdrop of this story. So John's missing. No one knows. Years go by. Chloe tries to move on.
Years go by.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
years.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's, high school comes. She's fitting in. She gains some popularity. But the trauma of what happened with John and not knowing is kind of always this cloud over her. But she can kind of fake it enough that people think she's, moved on. So right when Chloe's at the point where she's like, I'm getting better, I'm going to close the door, John escapes. And we find out at that point that he has some kind of uncontrollable power that isn't really explained, but we know that when he has strong feelings for someone, he can do terrible, terrible things. And that can either be really strong good feelings or really strong bad feelings, but the outcome is the same.
Oh my God.
And so we learn all this, situations. You have this very supernatural element of what he came out of this kidnapping, basement dwelling situation, what he is now. And what was that guy trying to do? And what does that mean for him and Chloe? What does that mean for him going back to his parents and going back to this life that he doesn't recognize anymore? There's also a police detective that's involved here in the background, which he was a phenomenal character. And from there, I really won't give you any more information. It's just a crazy journey to find out how what he's gonna do with this, where he takes that power. You find out kind of what the substitute teacher was trying to go for. It is different. It's weird. You don't know what's going to happen chapter to chapter, but I tore through it.
Wow.
And if there's something to be said for her as an author, it's that she knows how to write a compelling story. And that is what this is. It is not You. It's not Hidden Bodies. You're not going to, simultaneously hate and root for Joe. you are going to be in a totally different headspace, but she's a phenomenal writer, and it's just a really, really good book.
Seems like, too, she's focusing on obsession in different ways. Like, obviously, stalker obsession in You and Hidden Bodies, but here, like, it sounds like the sub-teacher is obsessed with Lovecraft as well as maybe this kid, too.
Yeah, and then John's kind of obsessed with his love for Chloe, and Chloe's obsessed with this not being able to get past it. I mean, everybody kind of has this thing that they're just letting rule their lives.
Yeah. And when you bring supernatural stuff into obsession, that's fascinating. Sounds really good. I can see how like reviewers would, maybe not dig that because first off, it is supernatural and some reviewers don't like that as much, but also that it's so different.
Yeah.
Where it came from.
And it's been announced recently that she is writing a 3rd and 4th volume to You and Hidden Bodies. Oh. But when this came out, there was no word about whether there was going to be a 3rd or 4th. And I think that played into it as well. I think people wanted more volumes and they were frustrated that she took the time and did another book. Yeah. And so, and whatever her personal reasons are as a writer for doing that, who cares?
She wanted to do something different.
Yeah. And it's phenomenal. It's great. And I was
any
hooked.
Chance this would turn into a series?
I would think it has
it has potential.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has great characters. It has really good making. I mean, it might be better served as a movie. I don't know, but they're doing so many things with TV series now that you think that it's a definite story, but they figure out how to, play it on more. So it's very good.
Wow. She's got some skill, Carolyn.
She does.
Katniss.
She does. She brings it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds similar, maybe because of the supernatural theme, but also with some of the content to my other genre book, which is a short story collection from 2017, and it's called The Dark Dark by Samantha Hunt.
I've heard of that. Okay.
Yes. What I like about this is I'll get into, how it relates to the theme, but also that the stories are often very short. Like you can get through, a few pages and you have a story. But this starts with the assumption that weird stuff routinely breaks into ordinary lives. And you can either ignore that. Oh, hey, Podcat. What's up?
Oh, you're talking about supernatural stuff?
Podcat's like, dark, dark. That's me.
Yeah.
I know this.
Hello.
In case you couldn't hear, listeners, she came running down the stairs, meowing at us.
Yeah.
She's like, I want in on that.
I'm trying not to take it personal. Like she figured out I was here and she was like, where'd you come from?
She felt the disturbance.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I got that.
I didn't
energy
allow
again.
you here.
Yes. Well, it's actually kind of fortuitous. There's animals in here too.
See?
Yeah.
She knew.
So the idea, that weird stuff routinely breaks into normal life. So do you either ignore it or do you go with it? And in these stories, they go with it. There's a story about an FBI agent who falls in love with a robot built for a suicide mission. There's a story about a young woman who unintentionally cheats on her husband when she's transformed every night into a deer.
Oh.
So,
like with a deer? Does that count? As
See?
cheating?
See? It's a good question.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess I don't really want to get into the
that one,
moral part of that.
It has some real visceral images in it.
Okay.
When she transforms into a deer and then comes into their marriage bed. So it's real interesting.
Yeah.
There's another story about two strangers who become lovers and somehow find themselves responsible for the resurrection of a dog. Oh. There's 13 pregnant teenagers who develop a strange relationship with the founding fathers of American history. And there's a lonely woman who is taking fertility treatments, and it becomes the stuff of science fiction.
Wow.
So there's magic, there's bodies changing and surprising you. In particular, there's a big focus on pregnancy and trying to get pregnant, but also what pregnancy does to a woman's body and how that can just be inherently weird and sort of supernatural when you think about it. Beyond what I would say to recommend it, Carmen Maria Machado, short story master that we recommended a while ago. She loved this book. She recommended it for NPR. And she said, quote, once you boil away the horror, these are stories about middle-class women imprisoned by the domestic in some way or another. We all live in the dark, but women live in the dark, dark, the shadow of any space they occupy. Ooh. Which I don't know if that's where Samantha Hunt came or got the title, but if not, I would go with it because that is incredible.
Yeah.
What she just said.
Right. I'd be like, thank you. And I'm done.
Thank you, Carmen.
That's what I was going
Great.
for. That's what I meant.
Exactly
That
what
is what I
meant.
Yep. It wasn't a typo where they just added an extra dark. That's what I was
to do
going
it.
for.
I meant to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Nailed it. Mic drop. I'm out.
So I think that, a lot of people can tell supernatural stories, and you see them everywhere. You see all sorts of supernatural stories. But when you use the supernatural to talk about what we might consider normal or what we might consider, just routine, even like pregnancy, that's super powerful. And I really enjoyed that about these stories. And I'll just, agree with what Carmen Maria Machado said.
Yeah.
As you should do in everything, really.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, for my other genre pick, it's still fiction, but it's actually a young adult novel. So that's why I put it in the other category.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to address that because sometimes people maybe don't pick up young adult because they think, oh, that's not going to fit. And I'll say that there's definitely books in that category that maybe aren't going to interest in an all adult fiction reader, but there are sometimes that come around that
They're powerful.
They are so
Yeah.
powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so this one is called Children of Blood and Bone. By Tomi Adeyemi.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this was published in March of 2018, and it is going to be a movie. They've confirmed that.
Ooh.
It was actually, she sold the rights to this to be a movie before it even got published.
Holy
That's
crap.
how
And isn't
great.
she just like early 20s?
Yeah,
too?
she's like
Oh my
24.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the little things on the back, I have the, book itself and on the back jacket, and I love this part. It says, "They killed my mother. They took our magic. They tried to bury us. Now we rise."
Oh.
Right? You're just like, okay, all right. We're
It also
getting
sort of
into
sounds like
it.
Maya Angelou, and I'm in.
Right?
Yes.
Very, reminiscent. So the main character, Zelly, has these memories when her whole world was magic and everything around her was magic. And her mom had magic powers and it's this whole entire fantasy world that she's remembering because now the magic's gone. There were people that came in and hunted the people that were magic, and it doesn't exist anymore. So her mother is one of those people that were killed. And so now they kind of live in this very hopeless place because the magic's gone. They remember what the world was like, and now it's not that way. So it's this, you go through this entire story of her deciding to rise up and we need to take back the power. We need to get the magic back. But it's set in this whole fantasy world that's created. And it's incredible. It's so well done. And it's a departure from our world in the best way, meaning that there's supernatural elements to it, but it does that, what I think supernatural is supposed to do, which is kind of examine all of the possibilities we can see and not just what's right in front of us or what we can prove by fact, but, opens up the whole world to you. But also there's this very harsh understanding of the world that came in and took this over. And you can't help but feel as though there's this purposeful thing of highlighting the comparison.
A little bit of allegory, maybe?
Yes. And she's herself said it's an epic allegory for particularly the Black experience in America, but also just disenfranchised or the experience of feeling powerless and having to take that back. She herself touts the book as Black Panther with magic.
What?
Yeah, because the main character is trying to bring magic back. So
I love that.
Calls on her West African heritage. She's West African Nigerian, and so she just created this whole world. And she was working a job. And she said she happened to go into this gift shop and see these cards that had like Black gods and goddesses on it, and she just was kind of dumbfounded by that because she hadn't seen that before, and the images really stayed with her. And then she ended up later that night or over the next period of time, she was on Pinterest and she saw these things that these people had drew, and this whole world was starting to create in her mind.
Wow.
Yeah, it was funny. I watched an interview with her with Jimmy Fallon actually, and she was explaining, how excited she was, and it really ignited something in her and gave her this inspiration. And she recalls like going to work the next day and showing people, and they were like, "Oh, did you draw that?" And she's like, "No." And then they're just like, oh, "Okay, I don't know." And then she realized how much she was sparked by it, and like, I need to write this story and I need to put it out there. So kind of an interesting story of where the inspiration came from, but it is wonderful and you'll fly through it. It is a very thick volume, but it's beautifully written, and you just have to keep going chapter to chapter.
Is it a series? Is it going to be a series?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I would guess
There's
that,
potential for it? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would think, but I know that it's going to be a movie for sure.
Wow,
I don't know.
That's
yeah.
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think, because I think sometimes I question why things are considered young adult if, because sometimes adult literature focuses on younger kids too. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about this? Why do you think it was young adult?
I think that I'm guessing that it's sometimes maybe it's intentional either on the author or the publisher that they think that there's a prime audience for it. But I think that it hits the adult market because it's not a Twilight dealing with a supernatural, romance, that type of thing. It's kind of a next level Harry Potter. We're not really talking, there's not a lot of comfort necessarily in certain things. Yeah. So I think that sometimes it's important to put that in front of young adults and say, here's a different, it kind of challenges them, but it gives them something really great to grip into too. Absolutely. But I think that when young adult does that and does it well, that's when it crosses over to being great adult fiction too. So,
well, and I can see, the desire for that to maybe have those images, have that story for the next generation of especially young Black kids too, to be able to look at that. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
And Jimmy Fallon actually referenced that and said, he has 2 daughters and he loved this book for that, for like saying, see, you can do anything. Yes. Here it is. So, of course, if your dad's Jimmy Fallon, I would think you kind of have that idea.
Can do anything anyway.
But regardless.
But no, it's great. It's great. Yeah. That's also cool that she was on Jimmy Fallon. He doesn't interview a lot of authors. No. So that's how big a deal this was.
And I want to say that this was the first year Jimmy Fallon did like a Jimmy Fallon kind of book club thing where he declared like a national book that he was going to read, and then everybody, and I believe this is the one he declared, which I think is why they were on there. Okay. He had like a list of 5 and the audience got to vote, and this is what he did. I'm trying to remember. He picked a different one this year, but I can't right now think of what it was. So
no, that's interesting. I just know we've talked about how Seth Meyers routinely has authors. Yes. One of the many reasons I love him. Yeah. So that's cool that Jimmy Fallon.
He did. Yeah. And it was wonderful. And she's very delightful in the interview and just really excited, and who knew this was going to be a big deal. And it's very good. The book is beautiful. The book jacket is gorgeous. Really? Yeah. So cool. So
well, I think Podcat's excited about it too, because if you couldn't hear, she was meowing the entire time you were talking. Excited. Yeah, she was like, as you should be.
It's delightful, Podcat.
She also is maybe just meowing at us because we're not paying attention, and she's at the top of the stairs like, hey, where's my food? Even though it's downstairs, and she forgets.
She wants you to go.
She wants me to, And listen, Podcat, I mean, we do that on our own time. We don't do that in front of Erin or in front of our audience in the podcast.
You've done it in front of me, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I understand. Yes. It just proves that you have a good owner, Podcat.
She doesn't want to agree with that. No. Just like this bitch is,
Owner? We're partners.
Exactly.
You don't own me. Nobody owns Podcat. I run this place.
Yeah. That's definitely how she feels. So pop culture wise.
Yes.
I picked a TV show called Preacher.
Oh.
First, this is based on a series of graphic novels.
But it is?
It is. But in this case, the show is definitely better than the books.
Okay.
And I'll go into why. Okay. But the show is produced and created by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. Dynamic duo that create amazing things.
How did I not know that?
Yeah. It stars Dominic West and Ruth Negga. This is straight up Looney Tunes. Let me just say that right off the bat. It is packed full of supernatural weirdness and hilarious, gory stuff. Jesse Custer, who's played by Dominic West, he used to be a thief and a killer, but he's come home to a small town in Texas to take over his dead father's church.
Oh.
He's trying to be good, but he can't help fighting and getting into trouble, and he kind of sucks as a preacher.
Okay.
Then his ex-girlfriend, Tulip, comes to town and tries to get him to join her on another crime job. Let's get back into it. Okay. Then one night, something invades him. And I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean literally. There's a supernatural being that dives into his skin suit and gets in there.
Skin suit's what we're using. All right. I'm game.
And that supernatural being gives him a power, a God voice. When he uses this God voice, people will do whatever he says. And take it to crazy illogical next steps.
Oh, okay.
We learn this thing that has invaded Jesse is a love child of a demon and an angel. We also meet the angels who have come to fetch that demon spawn baby.
My. Okay.
And along the way, we meet a vampire named Cassidy who's pitching in to Jesse's cause, and he's kind of my favorite.
Okay.
He's something.
All right.
The show is funny as hell. It is action-packed. It is super weird. Besides angels and vampires, we eventually meet Satan, Hitler, voodoo priestesses, and much, much more. And there's also like God maybe hiding out in a dog suit in a fetish bar. So there's that to look forward to too.
All right.
There are 4 seasons. The 4th and final season is finishing right now.
Okay.
The first 3 seasons are available on Hulu.
Okay.
So you can get it
Get
there.
in it.
And like I mentioned, the reason why I think this is better than the books are great. The story's there. It's cool. But in the character of Tulip in particular, in the books, she's just kind of like helpless. Like she just, accidentally becomes a criminal and wants to get back with her boyfriend.
Okay.
In the show, played by Ruth Negga, she is an absolute freaking badass. She knows exactly what she wants. She's still very human and relatable. She is amazing.
Okay.
So for that reason alone, thank
Very
you, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, for making her an actual woman.
for creating the
Yes.
character. I like it.
Yes. So crazy ass show.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It is bizarre and delightful.
Wow. You know, I've seen it and until now, I never encountered anyone that watched it. And frankly, I wanted someone to tell me. So
That would
that's
be me.
amazing.
That would be
You
me.
did it twice this episode, The Mere Wife and this.
This is why we created this podcast.
It is.
I mean, besides,
Working so well for me.
besides giving our listeners recommendations, we just really wanted to self-serve and
Yes.
give each other good recommendations.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I went a little more old school.
Oh.
Yep. Okay. And I'm going to tell you the original movie that I watched that ruined all future scary movies for me called The Amityville Horror.
Oh, you've told a little bit about the story about when you saw this, right? Okay.
1979 original, people. None of that 2005 remake. I am talking 1979, the original. James Brolin, Margot Kidder.
Lois Lane is in there?
Mhm.
Wow.
Move into a house where a mass murder was committed and things happen.
Oof.
Okay. So I saw this way too early. So it has an infinite amount of power over me, way more than it should probably.
How old were you, do you think, when you saw it?
Gosh. It had to be like 4th or 5th grade. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So maybe 8, 9,
Yeah.
10, something like that. Yeah.
Just way too early.
Sure.
And it terrified me. It's scary. It's got all kinds of supernatural elements in it. It was nominated for Best Musical Score at the Oscars and the Golden Globes that year.
Was the music that creepy?
Yes.
I've never seen it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's terrifying. I had never seen the new one. I won't. I don't know how it compares. I can just tell you that the 1979 one, I'm a horrified fan, I guess I would say. Like, it's great. I just never want to revisit it.
That's one of my questions is, have you ever rewatched it as an adult?
No. So I don't know if it holds up. It has such a big thing in my head that when I thought supernatural, it's like the first thing that pops up.
Okay.
Yeah. It's instantaneous. So I do think that it's worth a view if you haven't
Sure.
seen it. It probably is less scary now because obviously we've come quite far in,
That's actually a
Movie
great
magic.
listener challenge. Like, watch the movie, tell us if it holds up, and
Yes.
if Erin can watch it again.
yes. And maybe we can record me watching it again.
Ooh.
No.
No?
No one wants to hear that.
Oh, I do.
You could be there and then
Okay.
just relay to our audience.
How about we just record it and then distill it down to like 2 minutes
Of just
your
me
top,
screaming.
like, screaming.
Jumping.
Yeah, yes.
Amy knows because she's been to movies with me that I am a full body movie watcher. So I will grab when I'm laughing and I'll grab when I'm scared. Both times.
And when you're just emotionally affected, you'll grab too.
I will.
Yeah.
Just reach out and grab for arms and then I cry, I laugh, or I scream, depending on what it is.
Then I realize that you're looking at me a lot. Like, you're watching my reaction too. Like, is she having the same reaction as me? I just catch you out of the corner of my eye, just like looking at me. And then sometimes I look and sometimes I'm like, Erin, get your eyes back in the game.
Yeah. I can't help it. When I get like, I love movies, and when I get into them, and then I just want everyone
I want
around
everyone
me
to.
have the
Absolutely.
same experience. I'm like, is Amy laughing? You should be laughing. Are you touched by this? You should be. Like, I feel like I take control over everyone's viewing and be like,
we saw Hustlers this week. You weren't super like grabby this time around.
No.
Were you just taking it all in?
Yeah, I enjoy, but I know there wasn't really the grabby.
That's true. There
it wasn't.
grabby.
I mean, there were some funny parts, but
Yes.
not like,
Not like book smart.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's quite a pick.
I know.
Also, I like the idea that you've been too scared to revisit it.
I'm too scared. Yeah. And I didn't even realize, I'll be perfectly honest, this popped into my head so hard and so fast. And then I was trying to remember what year. So I, did the research on it, the actors. I didn't even know there was a remake in 2005 because obviously I
shut
have
that shit
blocked
down.
everything
Yep.
related to it. Not going to happen. Shut your face. Never going to see it.
I like the fact that maybe like you were watching TV a couple times and a commercial came on and your brain just shut it down. It was like, we're going to turn off the eyes, turn off the ears. Protective impulse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I know.
I don't want to watch it, I'll be honest. And part
you
of that
should.
is I'm jumpy and
Yeah.
I don't even, old school horror movies.
I don't
wanna
do well.
it.
I don't.
do it.
I don't.
Yeah.
I startle very easily. You can ask anyone that actually lives in the house. I frequently scream at people that live there, which is what Mike always says. I live here. Like I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Why are you screaming at the sight of me? Yeah. Zach has actually said that he's had the thought process of whether, like, he knows that he's coming out of his room and I'm going down the stairs, and he's thought, should I say something? Because I'm going to startle her, and he's not because he's like, she's too close to the stairs. I'm going to startle her. She's going to fall down the stairs.
Oh my God.
That's how
Your
pervasive of an
family
issue.
knows you
Yeah.
so much
And
so well.
it also makes me feel sad that they had to have that hard of a workaround.
If that's all they have to work around, you've done a good job.
Okay, yeah. All right,
So
all right. I'll give it
don't
that.
worry about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, yeah. Whew. Tell you what.
Well, some good Monster Mash picks. Erin.
Gravy all smash. Monster mash.
I don't know why the name came to me because I hate that song.
Oh, so should I keep singing it?
Yes. Yes. I don't know what it is, but yeah, that just immediately, kind of like Amityville Horror came to you
Yeah,
directly.
you
This
just-
one came right up to me.
I can't get enough of that guy's voice when he sings it.
Monster Mash.
It's a gravy old smash.
Oh boy.
I think it was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect pick. Good job out of you.
Thanks. Good picks
Well-
out of you too.
The good news is that we'll be back next week. And you know that'll be an even better title than Monster Mash.
Oh my God, it's going to be so good.
But in the meantime, you can head to our website where you'll see episode 33 titled Monster Mash.
Yeah, you will.
With all the recommendations.
We might even link to a recording of the song.
We might. We just
fact,
might
I
do
kinda
though.
need to
Yeah,
now.
you
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've mentioned it enough. It's required.
So also at our website, which is www.broadsandbooks.com.
Yes.
There is bonus material. Besides, linking to Monster Mash, there are whole bonus episodes.
Yes.
There's Q&As.
Ooh.
There's gift guides.
Yes.
There's a special best of at episode 25. You got to go.
You do.
got to see what all there is.
You need to go. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you go there and you're like, this is amazing. Great titles. Great content. Great bonus material.
So good.
Love those broads.
Yes.
That right there. I just wrote it for you. A review.
Absolutely. You did like a Mad Libs review.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
Done. Do it.
And like we've said in the past, if you're listening on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, super easy to do that. And just
Yeah.
add it into a review. If you're listening other ways, send it to us on social medias.
Yeah.
Or via email.
Absolutely.
We will publicize the hell out of that.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Also, another thing we love to hear about from our listeners are theme ideas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear a theme idea.
Yes.
As you have said in the past, even just a tidbit of an idea, the tip of an oh God.
What? I was like, is she gonna? Yep, she's gonna. Okay, all right. Just
And I
the
couldn't
tip
even-
of an idea.
I couldn't even make it through.
Just a
Just
nugget of an idea.
Tip of an idea. We will take that tip and run with it. And make it into a full idea. I guess. Yep. Oh dear God.
We're good at that.
Yep, we are.
So you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, on our website. You can find Podcat on Instagram.
You sure can. Happy reading. I'm up again. Same night, another dream. Before trying this recording thing, I didn't remember much of anything of these dreams. I didn't remember much from any of the women. And one night of doing this, and it's broken things open,
The dreams they're in me, and they're coming out of me, and
To me, I am not broken. I am the most whole, most real.
Cause their despair. I wait for the word. Witch.
Look at the mad woman in her cage. She was a woman with holes inside her. That was the heaviest factor, the final evidence, the heart of the issue.
Somehow, you understand this. You hear me. Wherever you are, whatever this is,
this isn't a dream journal anymore. It's not. It's just fact. Because now this is some sort of record. What are these dreams? Maybe there's a better question. Who are these women? Weird Woman is a Broads and Books production. All 9 episodes are available January 10th. Listen and subscribe to Weird Woman on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and your favorite podcast platform. That's WYRD Woman, wherever you listen to podcasts.